So, I've been wondering as I look out over my little Viking village here, what are the Vikings most known for? I think maybe aside from horned helmets, which aren't historically accurate, it's probably their longships. They have those crazy striped sails and you got the oars coming out of them and everything, and I think they're really cool, but I have not built one here in this Viking town. Right, that's astonishing. Well, today I'm gonna build one, and it's gonna go right here, and it's going to be beautiful. Look at that view right there. Isn't that great? I think it is much improved by this little boat that we have built. Psst, hey you! Do you know you can join this server if you click the link in the description and make an application? It's really easy, it's really simple, you should do it, and you can play Minecraft with me, your favorite YouTuber, so do it right now! Just take a look at this boat here. It's pretty cool. Now, it is not just any Viking longship, it is specifically a Knar. I read on Wikipedia that it's a boat that goes over long journeys, and so it doesn't really need these oars, so they're maybe not entirely accurate. They would have oars, but maybe not as many. I don't know, I just added them because I thought they looked cool and Viking-y. You can also see that there's some shields, which are often depicted in the art, and I think they look pretty cool. And we've got this lovely striped sail here, which I spent a long time on to try to get the shape right, and I ended up just going with this super basic thing where it's just a curve, but in the end, I think it works pretty well. We've also got some ropes, some rigging. Can you tell that that's a rope? Probably not, because it doesn't look anything like a rope, but it might give off the illusion of a rope from far away. Now, one thing that's definitely not gonna give off an illusion is this. Can you tell what that is? Probably not. It's supposed to be a dragon head, but it's just too small to have any details, so... yeah, some people have built real dragon heads on these, but I didn't, because they're just too big and they don't look right, so I did that. I think it looks alright. I think this boat, generally, as a whole, is really cool, and it makes this area feel much more Viking-y. On the theme of transportation, there's another thing we have to do today. Well, we don't have to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You see, this area, this valley here, is relatively developed. We've been building here for quite some time, but there are other parts on this island that we have not explored yet. Now, those areas won't be built in for a long time, probably not until I finish most of this, but eventually I do want to do some building over there, particularly across this mountain here, which is rather difficult to get up, so I'm going to use this trident here. Yes, over here on top of the mountain, you can see down there, there's some little flat areas. That is where I want to build what I call poor land. That's where all the poor people will go, and they'll live in their poor houses, and there'll be some farms along there, like wheat fields. It's a little steep for wheat fields, but I guess the poor people will find a way. And of course there needs to be a way to get over here instead of climbing over this snowy, dangerous mountain, so I want to dig a tunnel through the whole mountain, and then also build a bunch of other roads so that we can have some places to go and move around, and, everything would look great and jolly. So let's build some roads. I have a tendency to spend a lot of time doing things I really don't need to. For example, let's look at this brand new tunnel to Poorland. It could have just been a simple 2x2, it could have even been 1x1. I really did not have to do any of this. In fact, I could have just climbed over the mountain, which wouldn't take that long, but instead, I wanted to build this immersive tunnel here. As you can see, it is very spooky. Wasn't necessarily intentional, but now it looks that way, and I think it's great. I mean, like, just from here, if you just look at it, it's just like, yeah, that's good. That's a good tunnel. Now, there's some lore, there's some story, there's some detailing. First of all, as you can see, there's just a little bit of moss there at the bottom, but it doesn't go throughout the whole thing. That's because there's no light. It's very dark. I guess the people who built this, it was just, it's for the poor people, so there's no lights in here. There's just barely enough so that mobs don't spawn. But look down there. Look down that hall. Isn't that gorgeous? You can see the barely little light at the end of the tunnel. It's got that arch shape. It's just enough space for you to walk and kind of run through, but if you try to sprint jump, you'll end up hitting the walls, and it's really... The whole thing was meant to be practical, but it's just not. It's also got some bits that are falling apart on the sides, meaning that this is probably not a very safe tunnel to be in. It might collapse any moment now. And it's got some skulls of the dead. Now, I didn't get this myself because I don't bother to go into the nether very often. I just keep dying, but my dad, who pays for the server and has creative mode, showed up and he spawned a bunch of sniffers, pandas, mushrooms, and placed some various mob heads. Like, I don't even know, like, first of all, this is a real skeleton skull. You can't get those unless you blow a skeleton up with a charged creeper, and that's difficult. So these are rare, expensive stuff, and it's just gonna sit there. But the big thing, check this out. A player head. You cannot get those in survival. Not even with our heads mod that we have can you get a player head. Like, this is just player head. I don't think there's any way to get this. This might possibly be valuable, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna hold on to it, and we can just walk along this scenic view. I gotta take this off. That way it's more scenic. Look at this. Wow. So scenic. So inefficient. So cool. Sometimes bats spawn in here as well, which adds to the ambience. You can hear one over there in the distance. But as we get closer to the end of the tunnel, you'll see there's some more grass and foliage as we enter where poor land will be eventually. So yeah, this took a good bit of time. It wasn't too long, but it was definitely a lot more than 10 minutes like the last thing. On top of that, I have spent a great deal of time and effort building some roads around here. I've paved up the walkway that goes up to Noodle's house here. You can see the panda that will spawn. There's a few more. There's some sheep. Jeez, it's like Noah's Ark up here. There's all sorts of animals. Sniffer, again, spawned in creative mode, but check out this view. I think this spot here is a nice view. I feel like the road makes the building look better. I don't even know how that's possible, but it just makes it look nice, and it feels more real, like it's actually in the land rather than just plopped on top of it. I've also built another completely pointless road, which curves over here and goes to my tree chopping area over here. That's where all the tall trees are, and also a bunch of mushrooms. I think that was him, but I don't know. They just kind of appeared at some point, so that's weird. I have jibber-jabbered on about all this road building and stuff, but what is the actual thing? Like, you know, we haven't really done much. We've built some roads, a tunnel, and a boat. That's not enough. We need to spend even more countless hours grinding. The thing that is going to take up all that time is the nether system. In the next episode, we're going to build a little shop here. It's going to be a wool shop, and we're going to clean up all of this, and we're going to put the shop there. But if no one can get here in under 20 minutes, then how is anyone going to buy the wool? Well, the truth is that's not possible. So we're gonna make it so that people can get over here very quickly by building a nether highway system, which is gonna take an exuberant amount of time, but we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be great. Basically, we're going to build a bunch of roads going all around the place, and we're gonna work with some other people. We're gonna have a time lapse. There's really not much more I have to tell about the nether system. It's just gonna be a bunch of roads connected together, and it's gonna look cool. So why don't we stop talking and just start building right now? Call me a prophet, because I predicted, quite accurately, that this project would take a very long time. So the nether system is complete. I have dug a tunnel to absolutely everyone's bases. If they didn't have portals before, I made portals for them. And I literally took the time to go to every single base on the server, no matter how inactive, except Jake's portal, because he doesn't count. He doesn't ever play, so that's why. Anyway, we have dug a bunch of tunnels. You can see if you look down there, it goes a very long way. It goes a long way that way too. And it's all lined with blue ice. They've got road signs everywhere. We've got these little bits where you can stop at all of the intersections so that you can go to people's bases. They're a little short, so like if you're going really fast, you'll just fly right over them and not even notice that there's a turn. I don't know, people will just have to be smart and not go too fast, I guess, but we also have these things to stop people from flying down into the nether below. So all of this is very advanced. In fact, it's the most advanced system we have ever made for transportation on this server. It isn't decorated, although it certainly could be in the future. You just have to move it a little bit down because of the bedrock up here. Or you could leave it in there and incorporate it into the design. I don't know, but I didn't bother because that would just take way too long. This already took me a very, very long time. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. It's gonna be kind of ugly, but not too bad. I didn't have the storage space to include a lot of footage of this in the montage, so I only had a little bit. So yeah, I think this nether system is pretty cool, and I hope everyone else thinks it's pretty cool too and actually uses it. And most importantly, I hope that this will make business much better in the hometown, because it means that people can actually get here from far and wide without having to riptide across the ocean with a bunch of time and effort and pain. Yep, that's right. All of this was not for the community, no, it was for personal gain. So today we have built a great nether system, a cool Viking gnar, and some roads with a super shady, sketchy tunnel to poor land. That's quite a bit of stuff for one episode. And the next episode is also going to include quite a lot of stuff. But hopefully you enjoy this video and you will consider subscribing to me because I want subscribers. I've been trying to do this new sort of better editing. I mean, my editing's still pretty awful, but I've been putting in a little bit more effort because no one watches these videos. I always focus on the thumbnail, but then the video is actually just terrible. So I've been trying to make it better. Hopefully that's made a bit of a difference. Basically, I need more subscribers. So I've got to use every tool in the shed. The last video did terribly. This one's got to do better. Will it? Probably not. But if you want to make a change, if you want this video to get more than 2 views, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say. Goodbye.